Picture this. It's the summer of 2023, and Napoli is still basking in the glory of their first Scudetto triumph in over 3 decades. The streets of Naples are painted blue, with banners of Victor Osimhen adorning every corner. The Nigerian sensation, who led Napoli to the promised land, was a god among the Partenopei. His 31 goals in the 22-23 season had written him into the history books. But what started as a fairy tale quickly turned into a saga of chaos, heartbreak, and controversy. The timeline begins with the aftermath of Napoli's Scudetto victory in the 2022-23 season. Napoli's title win wasn't just any ordinary championship. Their triumph ended a 33-year wait, a drought that began after the departure of Diego Maradona, the man who had carried the team to their last title in 1990. The city of Naples had never seen such euphoria since Maradona's era, and this Scudetto victory was a moment of rebirth. The sense of expectation for the following season was immense, and Osimhen, hailed as the new king of Naples, was at the heart of it all. Napoli's fan base, fiercely passionate and notoriously demanding, viewed Osimhen as the ultimate successor to Maradona, a hero who brought glory back to a city that had been starved of success for decades. This emotional connection between Osimhen and the fans elevated his status to near mythical levels, making the fallout that followed even more dramatic. The cracks in the relationship between Osimhen and Napoli began to show as soon as Luciano Spalletti, the mastermind behind Napoli's resurgence, walked out of the club. The golden touch Spalletti had with the squad, especially his dynamic partnership with Osimhen, was gone, and Napoli's appointment of Rudy Garcia as his successor sparked immediate concern. Garcia's tactical style clashed with the high-octane, free-flowing football Napoli had perfected under Spalletti. For Osimhen, this was the first in a series of red flags. Fast forward to the bizarre TikTok incident in September 2023. Imagine watching one of Europe's most feared strikers, Osimhen, reduced to an internet joke by his own club. Napoli's official TikTok account posted a video mocking Osimhen for missing a crucial penalty in a league game, pairing it with a cartoonish voice and a trend that completely misfired. The post, laden with undertones of ignorance at best and racial insensitivity at worst, unleashed a storm. You must understand the global significance of this moment.
Surely you would just think in your mind, we've got a black person, do we want to cover his body with a coconut?
Social media missteps in football have become common, but this was different. Napoli's decision to post the mocking video came at a time when Osimhen was already a subject of transfer rumors, and tensions were high. Racism in Italian football is a long-standing issue, with many African players facing discrimination from both fans and media. Players like Mario Balotelli and Kevin Prince Boateng have previously spoken out about racial abuse in Serie A, and the league has struggled to handle these issues adequately. In this context, Napoli's TikTok post was not just a joke gone wrong. It fed into a broader narrative of African players being disrespected and undervalued, even when they were the stars of their teams. For Osimhen, the video wasn't just embarrassing. It felt like a betrayal by the club he had brought so much success to. It is not that the club Napoli is racist, certainly not. Napoli has had many African beloved stars, but the club's failure to understand the weight of their actions highlighted the cultural divide that exists in Italian football, and it poured fuel on the fire of Osimhen's discontent. The pundits were outraged and confused.
You know that putting a black guy close to a coconut, where I'm from, you get punched in the nose straight away. So you have to do your research, and it's your own team. What are we talking about?
Osimhen, who had already been flirting with the idea of leaving Napoli, saw this as the final straw. The fans, once chanting his name with adoration, began to turn on the club for their treatment of the Nigerian forward. In retaliation, Osimhen wiped all traces of Napoli from his Instagram, an act that screamed louder than any words. The fracture in their relationship was now irreparable. But this was not just about social media missteps. Osimhen had long been linked with a move to the Premier League, with clubs like Chelsea and Manchester United keeping a close eye on the prolific striker. Even Saudi Arabian clubs had come knocking in the summer of 2023, offering Osimhen life-changing sums of money. Yet, Osimhen stayed, but it wasn't out of love for Napoli anymore. It was merely a professional obligation. Osimhen's flirtation with the Premier League wasn't just about ambition. It was rooted in his childhood dreams and his admiration for the league's African icons. Growing up in Nigeria, Osimhen idolized DJ Drogba and watched Chelsea matches on his brother's phone, which was a common practice for many young African footballers without access to television. Drogba wasn't just a football hero. He was a symbol of African excellence on the world stage, and his success at Chelsea made him a role model for an entire generation. Osimhen's links to Chelsea were not just transfer gossip, they represented the culmination of a boyhood dream. However, the constant speculation about his future also took a toll on his relationship with Napoli. The club's refusal to entertain serious offers during the 2023 summer transfer window frustrated Osimhen, especially as the Saudi Pro League emerged as a potential destination for top players. The lure of Saudi money was real, and Osimhen was one of the biggest targets, with offers reaching astronomical figures. Yet, Osimhen's heart seemed set on a move to the Premier League, further complicating his situation at Napoli. By January 2024, while Osimhen was on international duty with Nigeria for the African Cup of Nations, he openly spoke to CBS Sports saying, "I already made my decision on the next step to do at the end of the season." There was no ambiguity left. Osimhen had mentally checked out. His heart was no longer in Naples. Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis was reportedly seething with rage over the Osimhen situation. In a fiery outburst that sent shockwaves through the football world, De Laurentiis allegedly declared, "I will never sign an African player again." His frustration boiled over as he blamed the Africa Cup of Nations for disrupting club schedules, insinuating that it caused unnecessary complications for European teams. This outrageous statement was seen as a direct insult to African players everywhere and sparked immediate outrage. Fans, pundits, and players alike slammed De Laurentiis for his brazen remarks, accusing him of disrespecting an entire continent's footballing heritage. For Osimhen, who had proudly represented Nigeria on the international stage, the president's words were not just a personal betrayal. They were the ultimate confirmation that his time at Napoli was over. Napoli's hero of the Scudetto winning season had now become the face of a bitter fallout, with the president's incendiary comments adding fuel to an already raging fire. By the time the summer of 2023 came to a close, the Osimhen transfer saga had become one of the most talked about stories in European football. For context, Napoli's transfer dealings under President Aurelio De Laurentiis have always been fraught with drama. De Laurentiis is known for his hardline negotiating tactics and has a history of holding out for massive transfer fees. In Osimhen's case, Napoli's insistence on a release clause north of 120 million euros meant that a few clubs were willing to meet their demands. Chelsea's approach was serious, but they were hesitant to pay such a high price, especially after their heavy spending in previous windows. Meanwhile, the Saudi Pro League's interest represented a new frontier for European clubs, as teams had to reckon with the financial power of Middle Eastern clubs. Osimhen's refusal to accept a jaw-dropping $1 million per week salary from Saudi Arabia was a bold testament to his unwavering desire to compete at the highest level in Europe. However, this left Napoli in a difficult position. They had banked on selling Osimhen and had already signed Romelu Lukaku as his replacement. The fact that the transfer didn't materialize left both the player and the club in an awkward, unresolved situation. Napoli made the shocking decision not to register him for the 2024-25 Serie A squad. The man who had led them to glory just a season prior was now frozen out, banished from the team. Napoli's decision to leave Osimhen out of their Serie A squad for the 2024-25 season was a dramatic escalation of the conflict. For a club to freeze out their top scorer in such a public manner is almost unheard of, especially after the player had been so instrumental in their recent success. Historically, such decisions have only been taken in extreme cases, such as when a player refuses to train or causes major disruptions in the dressing room. However, in Osimhen's case, it seemed more like a power play by Napoli's management, who wanted to assert their control over the situation. By this point, Osimhen's fate at Napoli was sealed, but the club's decision to freeze him out raised questions about their own competence in handling star players. The fallout from this decision was felt not just in Naples but across European football, as many wondered how a player of Osimhen's caliber could be left out in the cold. But then, something amazing happened. Galatasaray swooped in, offering Osimhen an escape route. The Turkish side, known for their passionate fan base, welcomed Osimhen with open arms on a loan deal that stunned the football world. Are you enjoying this video? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content on African heroes just like this. From the hero of Naples to an outcast shipped off to Turkey, Osimhen's story took a twist few could have predicted. Osimhen's loan, 0-1 move to Galatasaray was, in many ways, a lifeline. Galatasaray, with its passionate fan base and reputation as a European giant in Turkish football, provided a soft landing for Osimhen. The Turkish Super League has long been a destination for players looking to rejuvenate their careers, and Galatasaray, in particular, has a history of signing top players from Europe's elite leagues like Wesley Sneijder and DJ Drogba. After all, Osimhen has now followed in the footsteps of his idol, Didier Drogba, standing tall in a place where legends are embraced and given the stage to shine once more. The club's fans, known for their incredible tifos and fervent support, welcomed Osimhen with open arms, hoping he could lead them back to domestic and European glory. For Osimhen, this move represented a chance to stay in the spotlight while waiting for a bigger opportunity to arise in the January transfer window. The release clause negotiations with Napoli, which aimed to lower the price to 75 million euros, showed that both parties were aware this was merely a temporary solution, a stopgap before Osimhen's inevitable move to a major European club. Yet, for all the drama, Osimhen's fire has never dimmed. He remains one of the deadliest strikers in Europe, and as he dons the yellow and red of Galatasaray, you can't help but wonder, is this merely a pit stop before a grand return to one of Europe's biggest stages? Will the Premier League finally be his next destination, or will the Saudi millions lure him away? Whatever the future holds, the events surrounding Osimhen's departure from Napoli have cemented his place as a legend, not just for his footballing prowess, but for the saga that will be remembered for years to come. A story of a king dethroned and a warrior seeking his next battle. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content.